Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Sybrandt. I'm going to be going over two and a half of my assignments, talking about the accessibility of them. So we are currently in American government here. This is just one of my random Canvas courses. One of the accessibility guidelines, suggestions that they talked about is clear understanding of what we're going to be doing this day. So this is the Canvas page, and this is how every single week is going to look. We begin, for most days of the week, we're going to begin with a bell ringer that is linked right here. Then we're going to move into the PowerPoint, and then we're going to move into the assignment at the end. All right. The online accessibility handbook talked about how you shouldn't link in videos. You should have them linked in like your weekly agendas or go back, not in the PowerPoint, which I have here, crash course. We would just watch a portion of the video. So I am also going to be critiquing some of my PowerPoints and the assignment that I've done. This is for the expansion of suffrage unit, which is the right to vote. How specifically for this week, how the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks expanded the right to vote. All right, as we click on our first assignment here. So this is our where we're going to talk about Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, Little Rock Nine. So this is where I actually do this later on in the PowerPoint. But one thing I definitely could do here, which is kind of unfortunately the assignment that I want to begin, is to see if any of my students can name any of the four pictures here. Of course, in the online accessibility handbook, it talks about writing out what is seen on the image. That would give away the answer. I definitely could make adjustments to that to have both things involved. Maybe have another slide where all of the people are represented with their names. So as we move down, the biggest thing that I do for my classes here is highlighting. Typically, I'll actually have it in its big, like blocky highlight, so the distinction is a little bit more apparent. Again, I could also be describing what's going on in these photos, which I do later in the PowerPoint. So I have the highlighted portion that signals to my whole class what I want them to write down, what I want them to get out. All right, as we're talking about like IEP modifications and SDIs, things like extra time on quizzes and tests, extra time on assignments as well, chunking, which we're going to talk about later, breaking up and scaffolding what we want our students to do. We have the use of the resource room, and specifically which is like a smaller space for our students to work on assignments, but specifically for the PowerPoints, for our smart boards, we are able to automatically translate what we say up on the smart board, whether that's in English or if that wants if I want that to be in another language for my ELL students, I can do that as well. I do have a student that is hearing impaired, although she is very, very good at reading lips. I have that up on the board for her so she can read what I'm saying as well. So as we move forward, so you hear I do have the explanation of what the photo is represented. We actually don't watch this video, but it does say listen like it would be linked. It's not linked, but as well, more highlighted, more images that I could definitely describe. Though we do talk about it, of course, for my hearing impaired student, I need to have those captions on there as well. All right, more descriptions here. As we move further down, right, we will watch the I Have a Dream speech in its entirety, more highlighted as well, and then there's the link. as we move over to my second source, which is the abolitionist biography, so what I'm doing here is trying to harken back to what they already know, and I use for this assignment, it's the Instagram abolitionist biography assignment where they're going to create. I know, 99% of my students have an Instagram account of some kind. They know how it works, and if they don't have one, they've seen it before. Where you have images on the front page, and then when you click on the image, they're going to look and have the description and the content. So I've given them different suggestions here. I will look at me modeling what I want the final product to look like. This would be a project spanning multiple days. All right, this is part of me chunking out what I want them to do each day. So we take 3 days to work on it. I have a handout as well. The handout, the first page has, actually, let me show you right here. Right, this is me modeling what we're going to do. The first page would just be right here, right? And they can, I always say, obviously it's going to be blank. I did Harriet Tubman. For their first page, it's the illustrations, where they're going to choose 9 different characteristics about their life from birth to death, and the most important things about their life, right? Kind of making it similar to what they've seen, posts, followers, following, hashtags and things like that. And then, so this would be the first day. I tell my students, I am a horrible illustrator, that if they don't want to draw, which some of my students are amazing at drawing, some of my students are not, which is, that's the camp that I'm in as well, that they can print out, or at least put photos on a Google Doc, print it out, and I'll print it out for them, and then they can cut it out and put it on their first page. And then each page, these are the descriptions for these 9 photos. So hometown follows with hometown and the remainder of the 9. So that's me. Each one of these pages would be a single day. Just recently, we're doing a letter to your representative, where it's a 5-paragraph essay where each day is one singular paragraph, chunking up, and then me modeling what I want the final product to look like. Gives them an idea of what they're going to be working on, what their final product should look like to get a good grade. So there are definitely more I could do. I have, describing those alternate descriptions for photos. I think something I do well is that color contrast. Having the highlighted portion be significantly different than what the rest of the text looks like. But outside of that, that is some of my assignments. Thank you very much, everyone.